Speaker, on many occasions I often and many others say, well, what would Christopher Hitchens say about the particular debate that's before us? And I was thinking of Christopher Hitchens of all days recently on International Women's Day. I went to 3 events in my electorate and I'd like to speak to those. And in Australia, on that ABC show Q&A, which I've been fortunate enough to be on recently, he said this when speaking of women's empowerment. He said, the cure for poverty has a name, in fact. It's called the empowerment of women. And he was right then, and it is right to say it now. And that's not just something that applies to developing economies. It applies to our economy. It applies to the cure for productivity, the cure for fairness, the cure for a better nation, a better Australia is the empowerment of women. So with that, the 3 events that I'd like to single out on that day in my electorate. The first was the Manningham International Women's Day event. It was put on by Manningham Council. And can I thank those at Manningham Council who organised it, from the CEO, Andrew Day, to the MC of the day, Lee Robson. But can I also single out the councillors at Manningham, the female councillors. There's 9, and 5 are Carly Lang, who's the mayor, Laura Main, Deirdre Diamanti, Anna Chen and Michelle Klein at OAM. You all represent your wards in an inspiring and highly professional and effective way, and I just want to thank you for your service to our community on that day. The guest speakers included Carolyn Wilson, for those who are into their football, a well-known sports journalist who doesn't hold her punches when she has something tough to say about a very male-dominated sport. She appears on 3AW and has written in The Age and on Footy Classified, and her discussions about what it was like breaking into a male-dominated area in the early days were inspiring. Shane Dunn was on the panel and spoke about how the Richmond Football Club is pushing the boundaries of their club to set the standard for others. And Courtney Jones, who was a player for the AFLW Richmond Tigers. And I particularly liked Courtney's explanation of how she first started playing footy on a men's team and what that was like, or a boys' team at the time, and it inspired her to have a career in an area that didn't exist when she was younger. The second was the Doncare International Women's Day event, and I want to thank the Doncare CEO, Elaine Matusco, Martine Corbett, the Marketing and Communications Manager, Carly Klug from Bendigo Bank, and Marianne Lowe, who hosted the event at Bramley Estate at no cost. And Marianne Lowe does that for not just this event but many other events, and I want to thank her and Bramley Estate for their generosity. There were 260 attendees. Ian Goldsmith did a stellar job as the MC, but I want to single out Yelena Dokic, who was the key speaker. What an inspiring person, an inspiring Australian. Her speech was moving and powerful, and the first words out of her mouth were words of abuse and terror by her father to her, and she told stories of things that happened behind the scenes, including having to cower and spend the night sleeping at Wimbledon because her dad said she couldn't come home with her for the shame of losing a semi-final at Wimbledon. And she is an inspiring person. I want to thank her for her speech that day. And the third event was the Box Hill International Women's Day event, which all the Rotary clubs organised. There was 300 attendees. It was organised by Wendy Zhang and the chair of the International Women's Day breakfast. The theme was inspiring inclusion, and I want to thank everyone who was involved in that event.